Hey guys, welcome to BP The Bible Perspective. Why are black people so important to the electoral college vote? We know this because there's a lot of effort that is spent on trying to disenfranchise, suppress, and just plain discourage, just plain stop or minimize black people from voting. But why is that? Now, in order to understand that, we have to understand what the electoral college is. Here is a map of the electoral college. And the electoral college, you see the red and blue states as the kind of current, like these are the states. Blue represents Democrat, red represents Republican. And then, of course, what's called the number of electors. This number right here is the number that actually elects the President of the United States. Now, at the time of this recording, that means tomorrow will be the official election day, and the popular vote, the popular people will cast their ballots. But the actual electing of the President of the United States won't happen until December. And then who elects the people who actually elects the President of the United States are the Electoral College. Now, in order to understand this, and in order to understand my statement, why are black people then so important to this Electoral College vote? And why then are there some people who are going out of their way to suppress the black vote? Now, before we get into it, please like and share this video and subscribe to BP The Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comments section below. All comments are welcome. Now, as I said, if you look at this map, the Electoral College numbers, these are the these numbers that you see here. These are the people who will elect the President, excuse me, of the United States. Now, before we do that, let me get a brief, I'm not going to go into it, but a brief overview of what the Electoral College is. The Electoral College is a group of people selected by each state. Now, there are a total of 538 electors. And by the way, let me just say this, because there are some who the discussion of late of the Electoral College relevance is ongoing. Let me just say this: it is a constitutional institution. It was formed in 1787, and the point is, it's going to be a big deal. A big deal to get rid of the Electoral College. What I'm going to say is that it's not so much as getting rid of the Electoral College in and of itself is the problem. There are a couple of things that need to happen, however, and which I think are more attainable, okay, that needs to change right now, okay? We'll get back to that in a moment. But the 538 electors, okay, they represent the number of representative in the House of Representatives, which is about 435 currently, and then 2 senators, 100, and then the District of Columbia also. They have 3 electors. Now, this is based upon also population. And so the population shifts can change, which can change the number of each state electoral college. Now, as I said, these people are the ones who elect the President of the United States, not the people. So 2 things that need to change right away. 2 things people need to understand about the Electoral College right away that need to change. One, a little known fact is that the Electoral College, they don't even have to abide by the popular vote. Now, even though they are selected based upon the popular vote, But they also based upon parties. Now I'm gonna come back to that because that's an important point. But one of the things it hasn't been tested yet, but let's say that if one candidate gets 100% of the electoral college vote, the electoral college can say, we don't care about that. We're going to vote in who we want. Now, it hasn't been tested yet, but that is one of their powers. The other powers that need to be changed is 48 states and the District of Columbia have a winner-take-all policy. And what that means is that if a candidate wins 51% of the state's popular vote, the winner takes all the electoral college. So, for example, let's bring my map back up. Look at California. If someone wins California, that's 55 electoral college votes. If they win 50% of the vote, they get all 55 electoral college. And what that means is that the other 49 votes means absolutely nothing. That needs to change because, in my opinion, that's unconstitutional. Now, let me just say, for that reason alone, and I told you earlier that the electoral college is going to be hard to change because it's going to require a constitutional amendment. Let me just say this, the Republicans will never go for that. Why? Because the Republicans, if that happens, it's hard enough Republicans now. That's why you see a lot of the voter suppression, a lot of the stuff that our president is doing now through the post office to suppress the vote, to discourage the vote, to oppress the vote, because they know they can get in trouble with certain populations voting. And if you divide, just think about this now, if the votes were divided equally or divided according to the actual popular vote. Let me say that again. If the electoral college votes were divided according to the actual popular vote, the Republicans never win another election. They know this, okay? But the bigger issue is that the electoral college, those 2 points need to be addressed so that it could be fair, in my opinion, and constitutional. It shouldn't be that your vote doesn't matter. Every citizen's vote should matter. And in 48 of the states, by the way, 48 of the states, okay, that winner takes all is why Trump won, despite the fact that he lost the popular vote, okay, by 3 million. It is now why you hear them even talking about the electoral college vote. It is why you see where they are concentrating their campaigning, both Trump and Biden, why they are concentrating on certain states. Now remember, I said winner takes all. So if you look at how this kind of map lays out, Democrats are red. Democrats are blue. Republicans are red. And if you think about this right here, the electoral votes, this is what you get if you win the popular vote in these states. Now, what becomes important is, and now I'm going to get back to why black people why their votes are so important enough to disenfranchise, to oppress, and even discourage. Now, the reason why Trump won, and I would say that the candidates at the time, Hillary Clinton, made some flawed areas. She didn't go to places like Wisconsin. She didn't concentrate on that. She didn't really concentrate on Michigan. She didn't really concentrate on a lot of areas where black people live, but also just people in general. Let me just say this. Bernie Sanders made the same mistake He just blew off Mississippi. He said, I'm not going to win. So why put the energy there? And I think I disagree with that. If you look at look at the freshman congressman, who won. You know why? One of the things that's consistently I hear in each case, they went door to door. So Bernie and the Bernie people, whatever, stop being snobs. Make your case, even if you know you're not. Watch this. Even if you know you're not going to win, watch what happens. Maybe you get a small percentage of these votes. Huh? Yeah, look at this. Mississippi, where Bernie, there were 6 electoral college right there. Okay, maybe in the Memphis area. Maybe in the Memphis area here. See? Where in Mississippi. Anyway, I'm not saying that he was going to win, but make your case. And if you look at this, why black people are so important. Now, let me go back, because this is important now. And by the way, it's important enough that Republicans are spending a lot of effort to disenfranchise this vote. So when you look at major cities, so look at California, look at the state of California. You look at, even though Texas is a red state, there is a lot of population shift. People are moving to Texas. By the way, there's a migration back to the south, especially Florida. Look at New York, Chicago, Ohio, the cities in Ohio, Michigan, right? Detroit, Grand Rapids, places like that. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Not okay. You look at Georgia, Atlanta, of course. When you look at states like this, and I'm gonna go back to this. Look at states like this, and even though the red looks like it covers a lot of ground, and it does, when you think about where population is concentrated, okay, so the black vote becomes important enough. Now get this, the black vote becomes important enough to pull someone across the finish line. Okay, the other groups that's coming up that we're going to see over the next decade will be the Hispanic vote. Right now it's kind of hard to tell Hispanics in terms of those who are naturally born here and those who are legally able to vote. But what is referred to as the browning of America, and this is why, as I said, the Republicans will never agree to even a fair distribution of electoral votes based upon the popular vote. Why? Because even if you had done that in 2016, Trump would have lost. This winner take all is just really bad. Okay, it needs to change. The Democrats should have done that in 2000. They had 16 years, and they should have done that. And then, of course, they were shocked again in 2016 when Trump won, losing the popular vote but winning the electoral college. Why? Because he won in the states he needed to win in. To what? To get those electoral college votes up. Notice this, by the way, if you add all these numbers up, they add up to more than the numbers in the blue states. However, when you go back to breaking it down to how people vote, you're going to see that this number chips away. And this is why you see even now Trump is in Michigan, Florida, especially Florida. Wisconsin, Iowa, right? All of these states, Ohio, which is expected to go to him, but notice this, Pennsylvania, right? Everybody's spending time in Pennsylvania. Back in 2000, Florida, remember, was under debate, that big fiasco of a vote that took almost a month after the presidential race to kind of reach a resolution. You know how they did it? They threw out votes. right? And they said, hey, and when Bush narrowly pushed over, winner took all the votes. Now let's think about this again from the standpoint of black people. What you see now is people aiming. We know Russians are doing it, and even Iran has been kind of getting in on the hacking to target black people to say, don't vote, disenfranchise them of the vote. That's why you see the extreme voting measures, right? Felons can't vote, closing down polling places. Texas Governor Abbott, who limited ballot drop-off to one county per Texas. These are measures to try to hinder and stop. They're looking at votes. If a comma's off, if you don't spell the name right, they're throwing out ballots. Why? Because they know when you concentrate voting in one area, black people becomes extremely important voting bloc. And that's why they're so important to the electoral college. Black people only make up 13% of the population. But when you put them in the right place, if white people were smart, they would scatter us all over, right? They would scatter us all over. But when we concentrate in these areas, California, right, the big cities where the opportunities are, now guess what? There's a voting bloc, and since 48 of the states have a winner-take-all, the black vote becomes extremely important. Why? They bring a candidate across across the finish line. And so, hey, it's something that is a lot to consider, and that's why people should vote. Vote early, vote right. Okay, so all right, guys, look, that's my perspective, and happy voting day tomorrow. And those of you, I don't know if early voting is still going on in a lot of places, but happy voting day, and get out and vote, and vote whatever party you want to vote for. But hey, that's my perspective. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP The Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. The next time I see you we should have a new president or the same. Till next time, I'll see you then. All right.